going to be part of this wonderful 8 sessions journey. Since you can't unmute yourself, you can always message us in case you have any concern. Also, Rajesh sir, yeah, not able to unmute, I know. Uh, Atira, you are the co-host, so you should be able to unmute.
Animalaji, the meeting has gone live on YouTube, so you can
Okay.
start the
So,
meeting.
yeah, can you make Atira co-host? Looks like she is not able to unmute.
She is co-host. Yeah, I'm now
Yeah, yeah,
making her
yeah. That's
host.
what I told her. Okay.
Yeah,
Namaste, everyone. A warm welcome. Good evening to this wonderful session. Asmat Guru Pyo Namaha. So we have this online course starting from today for 8 months, 8 sessions, every second Tuesday of every month. And let us not take much time. As such, we are a little late today. Giving you a very brief introduction of our entire team. So we have with us the wonderful speaker of the day, Dr. Lokesh TN, and I will be giving him an extensive introduction once we start the session. And before that, we have a team from Sneha Seva Trust, the trustees, Sri Rajesh sir, Sri Ravindra Babu sir, and Sri Varadaraju sir. And we also have a team that is representing AHEAD. AHEAD is a Section 8 not-for-profit association for holistic education and development. Myself, Parimala Murthy, one of the directors. With me, we have Kirti madam, who is also the director with us. And we have 3 more directors who will be joining us in the coming sessions. So, not taking much time, we'll quickly move over to this session. And before the session starts, I had few questions or a few points to share with you. That is, this is going to be a online session every day, every second Tuesday of every month, starting July. So July, August, September, October, November, December, and in 2026, January, February. So 8 sessions, every session with a duration of 90 minutes. That is from 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m., which includes a presentation of the selected topics, followed by question answers, discussion, and assignments. So, since all of you teachers and other interested resource persons who have joined today our sessions, some of you must be watching us live. Uh, Only those teachers who have registered with us and who will be submitting all the assignments end of the session will be getting the certificate end of all our 8 months. That is after February 2026. So, any more questions? I will definitely take it in the end. Now, I request Atira to share the profile of our resource speaker.
Just 1 second, ma'am. I'll just share it now.
So, with us, we have Dr. Lokesh sir, TN. First of all, big thank you, sir, for accepting our invitation and being part of us today. I feel every time overwhelmed and very excited to read his profile and present him and his achievements in front of all of you. As we'll also get to see once our team shares it on the screen. So, as the screen gets shared, let me start. Dr. Lokesh Tian, he is working as the coordinator and head of the Department of Education, 4-year integrated teacher education program, NMK Orve College for Women, Jayanagar, Bengaluru. He has acquired MSc in Botany, MEd, MPhil, PG Diploma DHE, UGC SET, PhD in Educational Psychology, PhD in Science Education from reputed universities across India. He has more than 2.5 decades of teaching experience in the field of teaching philosophy at BEd and MEd level. As a research guide, Dr. Lokesh TN sir has rich experience to share with all of us. He has guided many MIT students of Karnataka State Open University to complete their dissertation. He is a resource person in several education projects of DSCRT under Government of Karnataka. To his credit, he has completed several educational research projects founded by DSCRT, UGC, and IECSSR. Identified as a resource person in human rights education and South India Cell for Human Rights Education and Monitoring, Bangalore, through National and State Human Rights Commission. So, being an outstanding translator, he has translated D8 Science Source book prescribed by NCERT through TISS, Mumbai, and DSCRT, Government of Karnataka. He represented various thematic and research papers at national and international seminars, conferences, and workshops. Invited by the Ministry of Bangladesh to deliver a talk on emphasis on citizen safety and measures during COVID time. We all know it was a challenging time, 2020, and he was proud to represent Bharat at World Leadership Conference. Invited by the government of Gujarat as a resource person, we all know the wonderful initiative started by our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, Bharat Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat. So this was in collaboration with IITE Gandhinagar, Gujarat. A recipient of National Youth Educationist Award for the year 2020. We are very happy to have you with us, sir. He's an outstanding academician, of course, and a wonderful author, writer, columnist, orator, and public speaker. So he has involved himself in many intellectual, social, and environmental concerned works. So once again, from all the teachers here and from Team Ahead and Sneha Seva Trust, a warm welcome to you. Not taking much time, I'll hand over the session to Dr. Lokesh sir. And the topic we all know, it is life skills with basic and advanced approach to it. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Good evening to everybody. It gives me immense pleasure to address the teachers all the time. It is very necessary for us to deliberate things to the teachers. Really, they are the wonderful creators of students' destiny. That's why it is better to share things with the teacher. Most of the time, whenever I get a chance to talk with the teacher, really I feel proud to share my views and also the experience. Today, as rightly said by the madam, this is one of the certification program for the teachers conducted by Sneha Seva Trust and also the head on the important topic life skills basics as well as advanced. Today, I'm going to share some of the things pertaining to this topic. In between, if you come across any opinion to share with me, definitely you are share the things. Let's see the things. Madam, slides, please.
Sure, sir.
And also, as a teachers, we have a great responsibility on our shoulders to shape the young minds. It is very, very necessary for us today to shape the minds of the youngsters. That's why teachers have a great responsibility on their shoulders. Life skill is one such thing where we can mold the personalities of the student. This is one of the important thing that has to be made compulsory in all the courses which were prescribed by the NCRT and other educational bodies. Even our DSCRT has also made it compulsory for all the kinds of the courses, especially for the B.Ed, especially for the teachers. This is one of the paper they're going to study at their B.Ed level. Life skills, basics as well as advanced. Madam, the next one. See, before going in detail about the life skill, as a teacher, it is better it is better to know something about the education. Most of the time in our day-to-day life, we are talking about the education. That is one of the common word which has been shared with many people in our day-to-day life. Suppose if you look into the word education, it is originally derived from the Latin words educare and educatum. Educare means to train or to mold, or it also gives the meaning that to bring out or to lead or to draw out or propulsion from inward to outward. These are all the meanings which were given to the education. This is true also. As a teacher, it is our duty to bring up the children. Something is there in the children's personality. As a teachers, we assist them so that they can lead out, to draw out those capabilities and potentiality. That's why the term educator also denotes the act of teaching. It throws the light on the principles and practice of teaching. The term educare and educare mainly indicate the development of talent potentiality of the child. Suppose if we considered any child for that matter, every child is born with his own potentiality. It is the duty of the teachers to see that kind of potentiality, and it has to be bring up by the various teaching methodologies. Basically, child doesn't know these possibilities, and also most of the time child doesn't know what potentiality he has, or he has inherited. That's why it is the duty of the educator or the teacher who can know this and take an appropriate method to bring out all these things and to develop. That is the role of the teacher. That's why education play a very important role in each and everybody's life. That's why education is a kind of a thing which can bring all the potentialities which were hidden in our uh, body, mind, as well as spirit. That's why we need the education. That's why it is rightly said by most of the thinkers that education is the strongest weapon by which we can change the world. If the students are changing, definitely we can change the destiny of the nation. That's why it is very much necessary for all the teachers like us to know about the life skills. Madam, next. Suppose if you look into the broadest as well as the narrower meaning of the education, most of the time we confine to the narrower meaning of the education. As a parent, as a members of the society, always we thought that education is bound with four walls of the classroom. We will send the students to the school or the colleges. Their teachers are there. They should give the education like that. We thought it is not at all a correct one. It is actually a narrower one. Education is the one, it starts from the birth of an individual and ends with the death of an individual. It is a continuous and also a lifelong process. In this process, as a teacher, educators, we should helpful for the students to acquire some of the skills, some of the customs, some of the values, so that it can, these kind of the things like knowledge, skill, as well as value should pass from one generation to the other generation. That's why, in the broader sense, education is the one which really brings up an individual and it makes an individual so useful to the society. That is the broader meaning of the education. That's why, as a teacher, educators, as a teachers, we should always keep that broader perspective of education, so that in all our attempt we make the student in such a way that it should useful for the society. That is one of the greatest aim of education. That's why in the present national education policy also, it is emphasized that the experiences are to be given in such a way that the student should become a complete individual, and also he should helpful for the society. That is the vision of national education policy. Make the children, make the students useful to the society. If as a teacher we decide to do this kind of the things, definitely we should keep the life skill in our mind. Whenever we have a knowledge of the life skill, definitely it is possible for the teachers to shape the young minds. That's why there is a great need for knowing the life skills, both basics as well as advanced. And also, we should uh, employ this kind of the skill in our day-to-day teaching and learning process. Whenever we get a time, definitely we can use all these things so that we can bring a better changes in the personalities of the students. Next, madam, next slide. The next one. Suppose if you look into the definitions of education, whatever the definition of the education it may be, they're all one way or the other related with the life skill. Suppose if you look into the Rig Veda, it rightly defines the education is something which makes man a self-reliant and selfless. So beautifully Rig Veda defines the meaning of education, making anybody as a self-reliant and selfless. Upanishad also says that whatever the end product, whatever the aim of ultimate aim of education is nothing but salvation. The man has to get something at the end. That is the what? That is the motto of Upanishad. Suppose if you look into the definition which is given by Kautilya or the Chanakya, according to him, education means training for the country and love for the nation. It is one way or the other training for the country. Education is giving training for the country. In many ways, we can understand this one. And also, this is one of the definition which gives the contemporary situation of that particular time, and also the love for the nation, training for a country and love for the nation. These are the two essential things whoever the individual he should have. That's why the Kautilya rightly said this one. And also the Panini, human education means training which one gets from nature. And also Adi Shankaracharya beautifully defines the meaning of education is nothing but realization of the self. We should realize ourselves. This is also one of the definition which coincide with the life skill. Later on, I will talk about that. That's why education is nothing but realization of the self. And Swami Vivekananda so beautifully enumerated the meaning of the education. According to him, education is nothing but the manifestation of divine perfection which has already existed in man. Nothing has to be given from outside. Everything is there in the man. It is the duty of the education. It is the duty of the teachers to bring out that one outside so that the student will develop. As a teacher, right now, in present situation, as a teacher, we should always act as a guide, friend, and also the felicitator of all these things. We should felicitate all these things to the student, and also we should provide an opportunity for the students to bring up the students' capabilities and also the potentialities. These are all the various definitions which were given to the education by the Indian thinkers. Most of the definitions which were given by Indian thinkers are one way or the other related with the life skill. Later on, I will take up this one and we will discuss in detail. Okay, ma'am. Next one. The next slide. And also, if you look into a few more definitions which were given by Mahatma Gandhi, he rightly says that by education I mean an all round drawing out of the best in the child's and man's body, mind, and spirit. If anything which is there in the body, mind, and spirit that has to be taken out, that has to be given a training, that has to be attained a complete development. Beautifully said by Gandhi. And also the Rabindranath Tagore, Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, they all define the education in different perspective. Aristotle says that creating a sound mind in a sound body, that is very much needed. Education is the one which really makes the physical fitness, that really give an individual the physical fitness or the physical development. If the physical development is the good, then only it can sustain the sound mind. This is what Aristotle said. And also the Socrates, Aristotle, Plato, they all define the education in different perspective. Whatever the perspective it may be, whatever the meaning of the education it may be, the one way or the other, it is related with the life skills. That's why it is better to understand all this definition in the light of life skill. Suppose if you see the life skills, they are nothing but the abilities Life skills are generally defined as the abilities or the capabilities which were there in the individual. Life skills are abilities for adaptive and positive behavior. If any skill which makes an individual more adaptive, and also it provides a positive behavior so that the individual can deal effectively with the demands and challenges of everybody life. The life skills, something like that of the success mantra for an individual. They makes an individuals to adapt to the situation, adapt to the context, and also it provides a positive behavior so that the individual enable to deal effectively with the demands and the challenges of the everybody life. If it goes like this, if it goes like this, all the individuals will succeed in their life. That's why these are the abilities that facilitate the physical, mental, and emotional well-being of an individual according to the World Health Organization. Life skills are very much needed for each and every one because of this. If anybody wants to attain the complete physical development, definitely there would be need of life skill, mental as well as emotional well-being. I think, friends, emotional well-being so important nowadays. To achieve this kind of the things in our personality, definitely we need the knowledge of the life skill. And if you go further steps, adaptive means person is flexible in approach and is able to adjust to different circumstances. One who is able to adapt to the situation is rightly called as a flexible person. He should be flexible in approach so that he can adjust with the different circumstances and he thrive in that circumstances that leads him to the success. Life skills are those ways or the paths which were helpful for an individual to attain, to achieve the success. Positive behavior implies that person is forward looking and finds ray of hope, solution, and opportunities even in difficult situation. As a human being in our day-to-day life, definitely we encountered with various difficult situation. Most of the time, we bothered about the problem rather than the solution. Whenever we have a knowledge of the life skill, and also we should have something information regarding the life skill, it is better for us to look the problem in a right dimension so that it is helpful for us to figure out the solution for that. That's why the same thing has been told in Bhagavad Gita also. Lord Sri Krishna says that most of the time in our day-to-day life, we try to be the part of the problem rather than the solution. It's not so good for the success. We should always try to be identified ourselves at the corner of the solution rather than the problem. Life skills are those skills which were helpful for an individual to solve the problem clearly so that we can succeed in our life. That's why positive behavior is very very important one. That positive behavior can be derived through the life skill. For the peaceful happy living, definitely there would be need of the life skill. And also it is very much needed, it is very much needed nowadays that we should lead a healthy life. It's very very important one. If we are healthy, definitely it is possible for our mind to generate the great ideas. If the body is diseased, we cannot expect anything good from our thinking and also from our thought process. That's why keeping our body in an healthy way, it is very very important right now. That is the thing, we need the knowledge of the life skill. Healthy life means physically, mentally, socially, emotionally, spiritually we should have a balanced life. One invariably needs the balanced life. Definitely he should know how to operate life skill in his life. That's why it is very difficult to expect this kind of balanced life in the present situation. But with the purpose, with the intention, with the practice, definitely it is possible for us to make our body a balanced life. That's why that's why these are the life skills. I already told that these are the abilities or the qualities of the individual personality. As the day passes, we should enhancing these qualities in our life so that it is possible for us to lead a better life. Everybody wish to lead a better life, but question comes to our mind, how we can lead a better life. Life skills are those things which really helpful for all the individuals to lead a better life. That's why this kind of the sessions is very much useful for everybody to know about the life skill and their implications in our day to day life, so that it is possible for us to make our life a better one from the point of the country, from the point of our nation. If we are good, if we are empowered, definitely it is possible for us to empower the nation. Unless and until we are not empowered, it is not at all possible to empower the nation. That's why life skills are the abilities. These are the qualities which really empower an individual, so that it is possible for us to empower the nation. The next one. That's why, because of all this importance, World Health Organization, UNICEF, they're all given much importance to the life skill. According to UNICEF, in 2002, defines life skills as psychosocial and interpersonal skills. Life skills are nothing but psychosocial, interpersonal skills that really helpful for the people to make informed decisions, communicate effectively, and develop the coping and self-management skills, which are very much needed for a healthy and productive life. Life should be productive. It's very important. If the life is healthy, definitely it produce something which is good for an individual, and also at large it is good for the nation. That's why there is a great need for the life skill. Right now there is a great need of the hour. Everybody should know about the life skill, especially the teachers. As being a teacher community, we all very fortunate to know about all these things. On the lines of the life skill, it is better for us to molds the personalities of the children. In the same way, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development also emphasizing about the significance of the life skill. These are all the skills which were helpful for the individual in achieving the desired outcomes. Where being an individual, we are the part of this great country. Definitely, we should give something to the country. In what way we should give something to the country? Our outcomes should be desirable for us also, and also for the sake of the country. And also, we should cope up with important societal demands, so that it is possible for us to give something. Unless and until without adjustment with the context or the situation, it is very difficult for us to lead a life. That's why there is a great need of the knowledge of the life skill for each and every one, and also for the teachers to know about all these things, so that they can change the destinies of the student. Nowadays, as a teachers, all the time, most of the time we are with the childrens. Most of the time the childrens are following the teachers words, their behavior, their mannerism, and everything. Being a teacher, whenever we have empowered with the life skill, it is possible for us to all make all our students to be successful in their future endeavors and also the future life. Because of that reason, today this session has been organized next month. And also because of this kind of importance, not only in our country but also in abroad, there is a great demand for the life skill education. In abroad also, all kinds of the programs have a paper based on the life skill education. Life skill education. It is the need of the hour, not only in India, but also at the global level. All the people should have the knowledge of the life skill. That's why it is better to give this kind of the skill at the school level. At the younger age only, we should provide all these things, so that we can make the better individuals in future. That's why school education is intended to prepare the young people for the life. We should prepare the student for the life. Most of the time what we thought, we preparing students to become professionals. As a teacher, we want to make somebody as an engineer, somebody as a doctor, somebody as a teacher, something like that. We are not preparing student for the profession, but we preparing the students for the life. It's very important. It's very important. We should prepare the students for the life. That's why the formal curriculum does not usually foster the full range of life skills because of so many restrictions of the school in terms of the schedule. But most of the time the formal education is focused only about the examination result. The student has been assessed only through the marks what is secured in an examination. For us, examination is the measuring gauge to assess the personality of the student. But it is that is not a good thing. That's not at all a correct one. In a narrower way, we should do that. But in a broader way, we should assess the personality of the student in different dimension. Among that different dimension, life skill is also one such. That's why it is better to handle all the students in an equal way. It is better to give the life skills for all the student, the knowledge of the life skills for all the student. It is better to give this kind of education from the younger age. Younger age is the right age. In that age, students are so receptive to accept the things whatever which are given by the school, by the teacher, so that it is very much importance for the teachers to give at a younger age. Over the past decade, many initiatives have recognized the limitations of the exam based school education. But not only the examination is the parameter to assess the personality of the student, life skill is also one such. Apart from studying, the student should know about how to study. That's very important. Not simply getting the mark never makes any individual's life so successful in their future endeavor. It is better to make all the students to learn the life skills so that they become a successful individuals in future. That is the significance of the life skill education. That's why an approach has been given in the form of the life skill education that has to be given for each and everyone, that has to be train the student on the lines of the life skills. The next one. Just we will look into the some of the objectives of the life skill education. Why there's a great need for us to give the life skill education because of its objectives. It has its own objective. The first one, to empower the effective domain of the learner so that they are able to develop a sense of self-confidence, eco-sensitivity, and right approaches to life processes. This is the first and foremost objective why we should give life skill to the student, to empower effective domain. See, if you look into the present system of education, in spite of adapting ourselves to the national education policy right now, we are in all these days. If you look back to the history, our education system has been dominated by the British system of education, where the British system of education is restricted the student, and also it is restricted their abilities and potentialities, and also it has been confined only to the cognitive development. But our Gurukul system of education, if you look into what the literature which is available from the time immemorial, Gurukul system of education is one which empower the student both mentally, effectively, and also the psychomotor. There are three domains: cognitive domain, psychomotor domain, and also the affective domain. These are the three domains where we should give training. Our Gurukul system is having that kind of motto to provide an education for these three domains. But British system of education has replaced that, and it gives only given the education only for the cognitive domain, but it makes poorer and poorer with respect to the affective domain and psychomotor. That's why nearly 250 years of greater time, we all become slaves to the Britishers. That's why it is better to empower the affective domain of the learners so that they can gain the self confidence. It is very important. Life skill education is one such approach which gives a sense of self confidence to each and every student. Once you get this kind of the ability, once you get this kind of thing, definitely you can achieve anything. That's why self confidence is very very important. That's why it is the duty of the teachers to instill self confidence in the students only through the life skills. And also eco sensitivity, it is also very important one. The way in which we are handling our environment, it is too worst nowadays. We are making all kinds of the pollution in the environment. How many of us have eco sensitivity in all our day-to-day actions? That's very important. That has to be teach to the students from the younger age. Eco sensitivity, how best I should go friendly with the environment. What are all my acts should be useful for the environment. The way in which we are deriving something the environment, and also we should act eco friendly with the environment, eco sensitivity, and also the right approaches to the life processes. That is the first objective. The next one, the development of basic life skills is central to the transaction of the curriculum, so that learners develop as competent and contributive citizens. This is also very important. To transact the curriculum through our various approaches, methodologies, and also the teaching, what best we can utilize the life skills, the development of the basic life skills, in what way they are helpful for the teachers to transact the curriculum, so that the learners become the competent individuals, and also they should contribute something to the society, contributive citizens or the productive citizens. It is the utmost aim of any education for that matter, to provide, to produce the contributive citizens. That is also one of the objective of the life skill. Because of this reason, we should give life skill for the student to acquire the knowledge and critical understanding. Not only acquiring the knowledge, but also to develop a critical understanding. That is very important. In the life skill, the one such skill is there, critical thinking, that has to be developed among the student. Because of that reason, there should be greater need of life skill education. The next one, madam. And also to visualize the basic concept terms, principles, symbols, and mastery of underlying processes and skill. This is one of the objective of giving the life skill. It provides the basic concept terms, principles, symbols, something whatever all we are using in our day-to-day life, that has to be given to the students, so that they can attain the mastery over such things, and also to apply the knowledge and skills acquired to solve the problems. The life is full of problems, as you all know about it. Particularly for the students, every second they face the challenges and also the problems of the life. To make them a successful individual, definitely we should make them to solve the problems. One such thing will actually come from the life skill. That's also one thing. We will make our students a good problem solvers, but also to develop positive attitude of thinking. Very very important one. How best we can see the how can we can see how can we can see the positivity in all our aspect, what we encountered in our day-to-day life, and how best we can analyze the situation and also articulate it logically, so that it leads us to the success. That kind of the ability has to be developed among the student. That is also one of the purpose or the objective of life skill, to develop interest in the subject by participating in related competitions. It is also very important. Not only the curricular aspect is helpful in giving the life skill, but also the extracurricular or the co-curricular. If you make your children to be participated in various competitions which are organizing in our school, definitely it create a interest among the student, and at the same time it is helpful for the students to develop their abilities, their talent, their potentiality along the lines of the life skill. To develop the awareness of the need for national, international protection of environment, observance of small family norms, removal of social barriers, elimination of bias, to develop reverence and respect towards people and society. This is also one of the greatest objective why we should give life skill for our student. They should think at the national, at the international level, even though they are present wherever. they should always, their thinking should be at global level. That is also one of the objective of giving the life skill. And the protection of the environment, that is the actual cry nowadays we are all witness in the medias. We should protect our environment, protect our nature, and also the observance of small family norms, so important the country like India. And also the removal of social barriers, elimination of biases, something like that. And also we should develop a respect towards the people and the society. These are all the greater values ought to be inculcating among the students through the life skill. That is also one of the objective of the life skill education. Because of all this reason, there is a great need for us to give the life skill education for each and everyone. The next one. The next one. Suppose if you look into the, say, so far we knowing about the significance of the life skill and also the objective of the life skill. This is about the classification of the life skill. The World Health Organization (WHO) declared life skills in 1997. Nearly 10 life skills have been identified by the World Health Organization. Among that, the first one is the self-awareness. So beautifully they given this self-awareness. The next one is the problem solving. Third one is the decision making. Critical thinking and creative thinking. They club together, critical thinking and creative thinking. The next one, effective communication, interpersonal relationship, assertive behavior, negotiation skill, empathy, and also the stress management. These are the 10 life skills which were identified by the World Health Organization. These 10, since their inception, these are considered to be as the basic life skills. Across the globe, the same thing has been given to the student in various courses and also the programs. The next one, we will look into the detail of each and every one, and how best we can inculcate these things in the minds of the students. The next one, the first one is the self-awareness. It is very, very important one. This is the first and foremost life skill. Suppose if you imagine the school scenario or the college scenario, something like that in the educational setup, most of the time as a teachers we should impose our thought and thinking on the minds of the student. Whatever teacher thinks, we expect that the student also think on the lines of the teacher. That is really a wrong. That should not be. That should not be. Whenever we are there as a teachers in the classroom, before giving something to the student, it is better for us to create a situation or a context in such a way that the student should understand themselves. That is nothing but the self-awareness. Every student should know, who am I? That is the thing. The student, that means self-awareness means every student should know about his strength and weakness. That is very important. That is a kind of the insight we should look into ourselves. Most of the time as a human tendency, we should always look outside. There is no there is no what situation, there is no context which is helpful for us to know ourselves. That's why the main intention of education is to make every students to get an insight about themselves. Whenever they get an insight about themselves, then only they are capable of living a better life. That's why it is better to make our students to get this self awareness. It is very, very important one, a very, very important one. And also the self awareness, knowing ourselves, is a wonderful tonic. By birth all of us had this tonic with us, but most of the time we never drink it. It is very important to drink it completely. At the end of the life, definitely we should leave some indelible mark in the history of the mankind. whenever it is possible for us to know ourselves. That's why self-awareness is very, very important one. Instead of knowing the others, it is better to know ourselves. It is better to know ourselves. Then question comes to our mind as a teacher, how can I make my students to know themselves? How can I make my students to aware their potentiality, their talent, something like that? It is that is the question that really what comes to our mind. As a teacher, definitely we should have a solution for that also. Most of the time, in spite of our teaching and learning, we should provide the learning experiences in such a way that the student may come out with his own ideas. For example, if you given a chance for the students to write a essay on some concept, on a particular concept, if you make all the students to write an essay, that is the right platform for the students to express his ideas, express his opinion, and other things. Expressing our opinion, expressing our ideas is nothing but revealing of the self-awareness. This kind of the written activities has to be given for the student. Most of the time in nowadays in the recent time in the school education, most of the time the student may not get an opportunity to write freely. Only the students are able to write their homework, submit it, corrected by the teacher, and returned to the student. This is what the normally it goes. But apart from this, as a teachers, we should provide some of the activities so that the students may aware their strength and weakness. That is the that's why most of the time the written kind of the things are very useful for the students to aware their self. That's very important. See, unless and until we may not provide an opportunity, the student may not aware about themselves. That's why it is my sincere request with all the teacher fraternity to give some of the work during the free time. They can come out with that work so that it is a better platform for the students to aware their what the self. That is a very, very important one. The next one, the next slide. That is the that is what the self-awareness. Before giving something to the student, we should make our students to understand themselves, or else we can say that they should aware about the self, what actually their mental capabilities, what actually their feeling or the emotion, what kind of the person he has, that has to be known to him, not to the others. That is the kind of the what the skill has to be given for the student. That is called as the self awareness. That's why there is a great responsibilities on the shoulders of all the teachers to prepare the students to understand their own capabilities, potentialities, and other things. That's why my suggestion is to give most of the written works. Make your students to write more and more. Instead of reading, they should write more and more. That is the right platform to express. that is the that is the first one, the self awareness. The next one is the problem solving. This is also very important one. As earlier I told, problems are the what the intimate companion of human life. Without a problem, nobody will live. Problems are coming like that. Every day, as an individual, we are encountering with the problem. Most of the time, instead of engulfing the problem as an individual, I should be in a position to engulf the problem, but unfortunately the problems are engulfing the individual. That should not that is not a correct one. That's why there is a great need of this kind of the skills are to be given for the students. That's why problems are everywhere. Every day we are facing the problem, but how to face the problem is so important. With the knowledge of the life skill, then only it is possible for us to face the problem in a right way. We should have smiling on our face whenever we encountered with the problem. That is the attitude, that kind of the attitude we should while solving the problem. That's why instead of worrying, not at all useful to a great to a much time. If you worry about the problem will not solve. That's why with a positive outlook we should see the problem and we try to solve it. And also whenever the problems come, there is no need for us to get over and control our mind. Peacefully we can solve the problem through the knowledge of the life skill. That's why it is better before whenever you are in a position to encounter, whenever you are in a position when you encountered with a problem, most of the time we should not clearly understand the problem, but we are thinking about the solution, but it is not useful. That is the thing, we most of the time we fail to solve the problem whenever the problem comes. And also the same thing has been teach to the student also. Whenever the students identify the problem with calm mind, we should know the problem. We should analyze the problem, know it correctly what exactly the problem is. And also we should know about the factors or the causes which were related with the problem. We should trace all those things, factors. It really requires the patience. That kind of a patience has to be imbibed among the student. After identifying the problem, after list outing the root cause exactly which causing the problem, we should consult the expert. That is also very important, to consult the teachers, consult the experts. And also it is better to take a guidance from the friends or the experts or the teachers. Then we will go for solving the problem. This is what and this is how we can solve the problem. That has to be teach to the student. Whenever the student encountered with a problem, without much worry, they should maintain a calm mind and they try to solve the problem. The next one. See, for the problem, there are many ways, many ways. That's why it is better to analyze our weakness and strength in solving the problem. Take some time to think calmly, then come to a decision. It's not so easy to come to the decision. Find out the alternatives for to solve the problem. Suppose a problem is there, there are many alternatives. We should find out the alternative. At last we can choose uh, which one is the best alternative to solve that. That has to be taken. And it is better to ask our insight. Whenever we have a self awareness, it is also helpful for us to solve the problem. Whatever the problem it may be, it is easy for us to solve with this kind of the strategies. That's why for our student also we should teach the same thing. For example, while teaching a mathematics, suppose if you give a what an exercise problems to the student, most of the time the students who are not at all interested in the math, they fail to solve the problem. But it is the duty of the teachers to make the students to solve the problem. That is, everything is in the hands of the teacher. If the teacher is good, definitely the student will solve the problem. That kind of the attitude, that kind of the situation has to be maintained in the school. That kind of the environment, the learning environment has to be created in the school. And for sometimes some problems have some compromises also. Problems cannot be solving by emotions. Please remember, this is very important one. Whatever the problem it may be, whether it is a simple problem or a difficult problem, with our emotions problems cannot be solved. With calm mind, with the alternatives, then only, and also with sometime with compromise, we can solve the problems. Whatever the problem it may be, sometime there may be two or three solutions for that. And we can choose a better one. And also we should have a courage to execute which one is the best, and we try to solve the problem. That kind of the ability, that kind of the potentiality has to be given for the student. That is about the problem solving. That is considered as the second life skill. See, these are all the life skills are interrelated to each other. The next one is the decision making. Decision. This is also very important and also very difficult in our day-to-day life. Suppose if you aware about yourselves, and also you are a very good problem solver. This comes to the next decision making. That's why in so many occasions we came to a conflict situation where what has to be taken for us, that is nothing but the decision. That's why whatever the decision it may be, it should be always taken in timely. Decisions are to be taken in time. If you take a correct decision at a correct time, then everything will seems to be good. Everything will rectify itself as a well. The person who makes the decision should have these qualities. See, for children also in our day-to-day life of teaching in the classroom, we should make our students better decision makers. That's why it is better to cultivate these things in their personality, self-faith. The student should faith in himself. Whenever, that's why I told that they're all interrelated. If the student having a very good self-awareness, definitely should have a faith in himself or herself. That self-faith is very important to make a right decision. And also we should have an independent mind. For decision making, we should get a what a suggestion from everybody, but at last we are going to decide something. That's why it requires an independent mind has to be needed. And also the responsibility, decision making is not so easy. It is always go with the responsibility, the aim, the experience, knowledge, life values, smoothness. From all these parameters, the decision has to be made. That's why it is very difficult to take the decision decisions. That's why it is better to train our students as a good decision makers. The next one. See, these are the four stages of making decision: finding the occasion and collecting the information. Then we can take the right decision, and also we should execute the decision. The next one. We are running a shortage of time. We will sometime there are styles of decision making. Sometimes there is a quick style of decision making. It is not good from the point of the teachers. And emotional style, I already told, by emotion only we cannot change the what we cannot solve the problem. Slow style not work out to a greater extent. Depending on the others, it is also without decision. Sometimes we cling with this without decision is also not good. That's why as a teacher we train our students to take a right decision at a right time. The next one. Critical thinking and creative thinking. On every occasion we should have this one, critical and creative. Critical thinking, taking everything in a broader perspective, and asking the question ourselves: why, what, when, how. These are all the things which were helpful for us to think broadly. That is nothing but the critical thinking. And also creative thinking, that is also a life skill. That's why it is rightly said that don't do different things, but do the things in a different way. That is the creative thinking, or the sometimes it is also called as the diversified thinking, has to be developed among the student. The next slide. The next one. That's why it is very important for us to develop critical as well as creative. Madam, next one. This is, see, apart from the critical thinking and also the creative thinking, we should have an effective communication skill. This is also one of the life skill. That's why once upon a time the people thought that knowledge is the power. Now the time has been changed. There is a paradigm shift in our lifestyle. Communication seems to be more powerful than that of the knowledge. That's why it is better to make the learners as a better communicators. It may be of the oral verbal communication or the non-verbal communication, something like that. Verbal messages, whatever it may be, it should be clear. Language should be simple, easy to understand. That is also an ability to express clearly. Non-verbal, by the signals, body movement, gestures, something like that. The recent research studies revealed that non-verbal communication much more impactful than that of the verbal. That's why, as a teachers in our day-to-day teaching learning process, we should concentrate on this one. We should always keep this point in our mind, so that our communication should be clear, so that the students will learn the things in a easier way. That's why the communication should be good. And also the interpersonal relationship, how best we can maintain the relationship. The harmonious relations really makes the life happy. If the relations are good, definitely the life would seems to be good. That's why this kind of the thing has to be inculcated among the students. And also we should try to resolve the conflict situation effectively by use of interpersonal relationship as early as possible. This is also one of the life skill, how best we can behave ourselves in the home or else outside school, something like that. It is all about the interpersonal relationship, our relationship with the water, the situation. That's why it is better to give the interpersonal relationship skills to the student. The next one, the next slide, the assertive behavior. This is also very important one. Almost all the time we should have a positive, I already told. Instead of negative behavior, we should have a positive behavior. That positive behavior, for example, love, affection, sympathy, happiness, self-confidence, they're all considered to be as the positive behavior. The positive behavior only will makes our body and mind so healthy. That's why it is better, as a teachers, it is better to train our students on the positive outlook. And also we, as a teachers, we should provide an environment or a learning situation where the student should joyfully learn the things. That's why it's rightly said, when you laugh, the world laugh with you. When you weep, you alone have to weep. That's why it is better to have the positive behavior in our personality. The next one, the next one, the negotiation skill. This is also very important one. The compromising skills. See, this is also one of the important life skill. As I already told, that conflicts are the common in our day-to-day life. Conflicts between the individuals, between the families, between the communities, countries, something it goes like that. That's why it is better to compromise between the two ends. It's very important. That is nothing but the negotiation, compromising or the negotiation. That's why the winner as well as the defeater has to suffer a huge loss. Suppose a conflict has gone up to the court, it will take some decades to get the judgment. That's why it is better to it is better to compromise with the what, the conflicts. That is also a skill that has to be teach to our student. The next one. See, this is also one of the stages. Suppose whenever we encountered with that kind of a situation, what are the stages? Identification of the conflict, the same thing, the problem, as I told, collection of the information as well as the knowledge, find out physical, emotional, mental factors, both of the side, find out the ways to compromise the conflict, communication in a better way. After effective communication, definitely most of the problems has been solved. The next one, something which are related with the water, the compromising skills, personal, outside, something it okay. The next one, empathy. This is also one of the important life skill, the capacity to understand a person from person different from us and accepting him. We are standing in the shoe of the other person and understand him. That's called an empathy. It is very important one. And it develops the tolerance and other things in an individual. It is better to give an empathy for individuals. The next one, this is also one of the important life skill. And also the stress management. It's the last one, stress management. Emotions are really entangled with the structure, entangled with the stress. As far as possible, we should manage the stress. It is not possible for us to control our what, the emotions. That has to be managed. The managing the emotional stress is very very essential in our life. For example, anger, hatredness, grief, something that has to be effectively deal. Otherwise it will destroy the entire what, the physical fitness and the mental fitness of the person. That's why the teenagers should know about how best they can control their emotions. The next one. That's why teenage is the critical time with respect to the control of the emotion. There are various stress which were originated in our day-to-day life. Sometimes family stress, sometimes from the social media, sometimes from the peer group, and also from the gender. The next one. The next slide. These are all the various sources of the stress. The next one. Next one. The next one. Next slide, madam. Previous one, please. Previous one. Previous one. Ah, yes, madam. See, the teacher tactic for the life skill. See, counseling is very, very important one whenever we are handling the teenagers or the adolescents. Intimate counseling is very, very important one. It doesn't mean giving advices simply, but we should try to understand the age of the teenagers or the adolescents. We should give an opportunity for the teenagers, either the male or the female, to express their opinion freely. That is also one of the technique where we can imbibe the life skills. When the students are free to express their opinions, that is the great thing for us to imbibe the life skills. And also we should not point your policy, experience, faith, or decision at first. We should always take into consideration student as the first. That's also one thing. And also we should all the time we should listen to their problems and the difficulties. Teacher should be very receptive to the problems raised by the student or the difficulties which were raised by the student. And also we are in a position to listen. That is very, very important one from the point of training the student on the lines of the life school. As a teachers, we should become a very good listeners first. Instead of giving the advices, we should listen the problems of the student. That is also one of the thing where one of the technique where we can train the student on the lines of the life skill. Madam, next one. That's what I said. Don't give your suggestion to the problem of the student, something like that. So, the next one. The next one, say these are the 10 basic life skill. If you look into this 10 basic life skill in every day in our teaching situation, we are going to come across all these things. Recently, from a decade back, some of the skills have identified as advanced. Apart from the 10 core life skills, we should know about all these things also. There goes like this: identify the useful qualities in others. This is very important one. Instead of boosting ourselves, we are in a position to identify the useful qualities in others. That is also a skill. That is also a life skill that really makes our life more joyful whenever we identify and honor the qualities of the others. That's also one thing. And also they manage the mental information. Nowadays we are in the digital era. It is very important. It is very easy for us to get the knowledge, very easy for us to get the information. But what kind of the information has to be managed by the mind? That is a great thing. What kind of the things we should keep in our mind? That's very important. That is also a skill. What best, what positive thing that has to be keep in our mind all the time. Know what others are doing. This is also very important one. Notice the source of information. This is also very important. Simply getting the information from everything, not good. We should notice the origin of the information from the right sources only. We should get an information. But also become a multifaceted in life. It is also very important. Nowadays life is providing so many challenges for the students nowadays. That's why it is better to build a multifaceted personality, a personality with divergent and also with diligent look. That is also one thing. And also improve our speed, learn to think creatively. That is also one thing. and learn to prove your creativity that we already discussed. Make your statement actionable. Whatever the statement we are going to give, that has to be actionable. Empathy, I already told. Think iteratively. Sometime with that means we should think repeatedly on the same thing, so that it is better for us to understand its perspective. And also curate and identify the nice. See, these are all the 12 advanced life skills. It is very important for the individuals to know about this one, the core as well as the uh, advanced. Whenever we know about all these things and the same thing has been given to the student, definitely we can create and mold very good personalities, so that we can make all our student as an asset for the nation. That's why it is better to remember the core life skill as well as the advanced life skill. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much,
Any,
sir. So
yes, madam.
we
Any
that,
queries from the participant side, please, madam?
yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are checking that. Requesting the teachers to raise your hand for any questions, and also you can type your questions in the chat and raise your hand. Again, one more humble request to all the teachers to please turn on your videos. So I have few instructions to give for the upcoming assignments starting from today's session. So you will get a link now, which will be displayed in the message in the Zoom link, and in the WhatsApp link. For those who are watching, will not be able to access the link, but if you email us, we will share the link with you. So you have to register and fill in the assignments. So we have two levels of assignments, three levels of assignments actually. So the first one is multi MCQ, multi choice questions. So we have 10 questions, and scores are like marks for each question, followed by an essay type of questionnaire, where we have 5 questions and 2 marks, 5 marks each, and total comes up to 75 score. So the rest of the 25, our volunteers and our coordinators will be tracking how actively you are participating in the sessions and how actively you are giving your inputs in the discussions. So we will be noting all of these points, and please, we'll also be sharing another link for the feedback. So please give your honest feedback. That will help us to improve all our sessions in the coming months to go. With this, I have one more announcement to make. The last date for submitting the uh, assignments is 20th of this month. So I request Athina to share the link in the message.
Yes, ma'am.
So we have also requested the teachers to join the WhatsApp link, as we could not add your number directly to the group, and we have emailed all the teachers. You will also be getting an email about the questionnaire. So you have to go through the session. In case some of you or some of your friends have missed adding or attending this session, please listen to this session again, and then you can take the questionnaire. So as I gave the instructions in the beginning, I'm repeating one more time to all the teachers. All the 8 sessions are compulsory. I request you all to join all the 8 sessions live or on the Zoom link. Since the Zoom link has the maximum capacity, you can always join first here. In case you're unable to join, please message us, go through the session, and I request one more time that please don't plan to miss more than 2 sessions out of the 8 sessions to be live with us, because when you listen to the session, when you travel through us with these topics, is when the assignments are made effective, and the after sessions classroom teachings are also made effective. So we have shared the form. Please save the link in your WhatsApp and start answering. And in case you have more questions, please ask questions now. You can type, you can raise your hand, and turn on your video when you're asking the questions. Again, since this is pan India, we have presented in English, but definitely you can ask us questions in English, Hindi, or Kannada. Thanks once again. So Atira, you're sharing the link for the questionnaire also?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Share the link for the questionnaire, both the set of
Yes.
questions and the feedback link.
Yes, ma'am.
Meanwhile, please share your inputs. You can even ask any questions, or this is open for discussion also. If you have any suggestions to give us, let us know. Okay. So Lokesh sir, one message
yes, madam.
is kindly give practical tips to approach all the life skills and to implement them in the classroom.
Okay, in the detail, I will send you, madam. We will share it to the all participants. The
Okay.
practical approaches to develop this kind of skill among students.
Wonderful, wonderful. As you know, one session is not enough. Lokesh sir has only tried to revisit all the topics, though we are all familiar. Even now, if you Google, all these topics are available. But when it is discussed, is when the topics register in our mind. And of course, we will be sharing more information with you with the practical aspect. And like you all know, skill cannot be learned overnight. It's not like a trick. So it has to be practiced. So any skill practiced extensively can only be called a skill, and we can see the effect. Any other questions? Maybe I'll also check if anyone has questions from the YouTube, sir, since we are going live there
Okay,
also.
okay, madam.
So, Athira, you have shared the link with everyone in the message?
Yes, now I share
Yeah, please share it again. We have some of the teachers whom I know already, Nagratna madam. So if you have any inputs, any questions, any suggestions, please raise your hand so we can unmute you. Or maybe even now I can keep you all, give you the option of unmuting yourself.
Madam, there is a question. Can we write assignment in Kannada or Hindi?
So basically, it is now in English.
But yes, Atira, the MCQ anyway, they have to click which will be in English.
Yes, correct.
So the essay questions they can write in Hindi, English, or Kannada. Is it okay, Lokesh sir?
Yeah, okay, madam. Okay, no problem.
Hello, good evening, ma'am. In the assessment, ma'am, one question is there, but only options are given. That question is not there. 5 options are given, ma'am.
Correct, correct. I think you have to frame the question. That's the question in the beginning. Check it out.
None of the above. A alphabet is none of the above is there, and then 4 options have been given.
Okay, you can leave that. We will check it.
I'll check.
Okay, yeah. We'll be checking.
Yeah.
Namaste, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead, Shweta, ma'am.
Sir, can we get the link of the thing in WhatsApp also?
Yes.
Okay.
Tira, put there also.
Sure.
Yeah, we'll
Yes.
share it.
Don't
I
worry.
tried opening the link. I'm
Sharing
getting
the
the.
assignment link in the WhatsApp group. We will also be sharing the assignment link through email. We'll be sending an email to you also
Okay.
by tomorrow.
Because here, when I'm opening it, I'm getting only the essay type questions. I'm not finding any multiple choice.
Okay.
Uh,
Both are separate links. So she is going to share all the links now.
All the links will be shared in the group also, ma'am. So don't worry.
Share it here one more time, Atira madam.
Yeah, sure.
okay, thanks a lot, ma'am. Thank you.
ನಮಸ್ತೆ ಅಕ್ಕ.
Namaskara, Ratna madam. Please tell us.
ಅದೇ ನಾನು ಇವಾಗ ಬ್ಯಾಕೌಟ್ ನೋಡಿದೆ, ಸುಮಾರು ಒಂದು 4-5 ಶಾಲೆಗೆ ನಾನು ನಿಮ್ ಲಿಂಕ್ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ಕೆಲವೊಬ್ರು ಎಲ್ರು ಜಾಯಿನ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಒಂದು 2-3 ಏನ್ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದೇ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಒಂದ್ಸಲ ನಿಮ್ ನೋಟಿಸ್ಗೆ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಕನ್ನಡ ಇರುತ್ತಾ ಅಥವಾ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತಾ?
Namaste, madam. Idu ಏನಾಗಿತ್ತಂದ್ರೆ when we started for an introductory session last month, most of the teachers requested it in English because this is reaching out to all states. Hangagi this time all the 8 sessions will be in English, but definitely in the coming months we'll plan some sessions in Kannada. I'll share that link also with you. Okay. Since we started a little late, we ensured that we will wind up on time. And since we didn't have more questions, um, we are open for your questions or discussion or suggestion. So skill is some space where we have to really work, right, Lokesh sir? In the coming days, skill is what is going to be very important for a student to be an entrepreneur also.
Sure.
So also, if we have some teachers who have done a nice experiment with motivating the students in skill enhancement, you can share your experience with us. You can even chat, or you can even share it with us orally. Some messages are coming up, sir. So once sir says they had taken a session on stress management. Yeah.
Nice.
So emotion management, it's a wonderful skill. I think all of us need, irrespective
Sure.
of wherever we are.
ನಮಸ್ತೆ ಸರ್.
ನಮಸ್ತೆ ಮೇಡಮ್.
ನಮಸ್ತೆ, ಇದು ವೀಣಾ ಭಟ್ ಅಂತ. ನಾನು ಟೀಚರ್ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ಒಂದು ಸಜೆಷನ್ ಇದು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಇದು ಸಿವಿಕ್ ಸೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಟೇಕಿಂಗ್ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸಿಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಬಿಲ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡುವಂತ ಸ್ಕಿಲ್, ಇದನ್ನ ಸಹ ಮಕ್ಳಿಗೆ ಕಲ್ಸೋದು ಒಂದು ಒಳ್ಳೆ ವಿಚಾರ ಅಲ್ವಾ ಅಂತ.
ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ ಮೇಡಮ್. ಸಿವಿಕ್ ಸೆನ್ಸ್ ಏನಿದೆ ಅದನ್ನ ನೇರವಾಗಿ ಶಾಲೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಕಲ್ಸೋದೆಲ್ಲ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಶುರುವಾಗ್ಬೇಕು ಮೇಡಮ್. ಆ ಸಂಸ್ಕಾರ, ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಗುಡ್ ಇಫ್ ಇಟ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದಿ ಹೋಮ್ ಇಟ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್. ದಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಕ್ಯಾರಿಡ್ ಟು ದಿ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ.
ಕೆಲವು ಸತಿ ಏನಾಗತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ನಾವು ಮನೇಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಇದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ತಗೊಳ್ತಾರೆ ಮಕ್ಕಳು.
ಅಲ್ಲ, ಪಾಠದ ವಿಚಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ಆತರ ತಗೊಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಸಂಸ್ಕಾರ ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತಿ ವಿಚಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ಮನೆದೇ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು.
ಎಸ್, ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್. ಅದೇ ನಾವು ಮನೆದೇ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು. ಹೌದು. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈಗ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿನ ನಾವು ಹೆಂಗೆ ಕಾಪಾಡಬೇಕು, ಅದು ಇದೆಲ್ಲ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಹೇಗೆ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಗೆ ಬಿಹೇವ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು, ಕ್ಯೂ ಹೇಗೆ ಮೇಂಟೈನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು, ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ.
ಆಮೇಲೆ ಈಗ ಬಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮೆಟ್ರೋದಲ್ಲಿ ಟ್ರಾವೆಲ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಹೇಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು, ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಬಹಳ ಕಲಿಬೇಕಾದಂತ ವಿಚಾರಗಳು.
ಹೌದು, ಟ್ರಾಫಿಕ್ ರೂಲ್ಸ್ ಹೇಗೆ ಫಾಲೋ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು.
ಶೋರ್ ಮೇಡಮ್.
ಎಸ್.
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ
ಅದನ್ನ
ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಲೋಕೇಶ್ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಹಾಗೂ
ನಮಸ್ತೆ
ಇದನ್ನ
ಸರ್, ನಮಸ್ತೆ.
ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆ ಮಾಡಿದ ಪರಿಮಳ ರಾವ್ ಮೂರ್ತಿ ಅವರಿಗೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಮೂಡಿ ಬಂತು ಸರ್. ಮೊದಲನೇದಾಗಿ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು.
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸರ್.
ಬಹಳ ಸರಿ ನನಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇದ್ರ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಅನಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಿದ್ದು ಈ ಈ ಎಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಮ ಆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಗಳನ್ನ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆಶಯಗಳನ್ನ ನಮ್ಮ ಕರಿಕ್ಯುಲಮ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಸೇರ್ಸೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನಗಳು ನಡೆದಲೇ ಬಂದಿವೆ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಅದರ ಕಾರ್ಯಾಚರಣೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗಿದೆ ಒಂದು. ಎರಡನೇದು ನೀವು ಹೇಳಿದಾಗೆ ಶಾಲೆ ಮತ್ತು ಮನೆ ಎರಡೂ ಸೇರಿ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದಂತ ಕೆಲ್ಸಗಳು ಸಾಕಷ್ಟಿವೆ. ಎಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ಸಂಸ್ಕಾರ ಮನೆಯಿಂದ ಪ್ರಾರಂಭ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು, ಅದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಎರಡು ಮಾತಿಲ್ಲ.
ಸರಿ ಸರ್.
ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ತಂದೆ ತಾಯಿ ಹುಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾನೆ ಮಕ್ಳಿಗೆ ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ಕೊಡೋದು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಈಚೆಗಂತೂ ಅವರು ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಯಾರ ತಟ್ಟೆ ಒಳಗೆ ಯಾರು ಕೈ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಗೊತ್ತಾಗದಷ್ಟು ಮಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಆಗ ಹೋಗಿದೆ. ಇದನ್ನ ಅಜ್ಜನಾಗಿ ನಾನು ಈ ದಿನವೂ ನಮ್ಮ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲೂ ಒಂದೊಂದ್ಸರಿ ಅನುಭವಿಸ್ತೇನೆ. ಬೈದು ಬಿಡಿಸೋದು ಆಗತ್ತೆ ಎಲ್ರು. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಶಾಲೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಕರಿಕ್ಯುಲಮ್ ಬೇಕಾದಷ್ಟು ಚೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಬಂದಿದೀವಿ, ಸೇರಿಸ್ತಾ ಬಂದಿದೀವಿ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಪುನಃ ನೀವು ಆಗ ಒಂದು ಸರಿ ಪ್ರಸ್ತಾಪ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಿನೇಷನ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಅಂತ. ಕಾಗ್ನೇಟಿವ್ ಕಾಗ್ನೇಟಿವ್ ಮತ್ತು ಅಫೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಡೊಮೈನ್ಗಳನ್ನ ಅಡ್ರೆಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಿನೇಷನ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಎರಡು ಡೊಮೈನ್ ಅನ್ನು ಬಿಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ವಿಪರ್ಯಾಸ ಅಲ್ವೇ? ಬಗೆಹರಿಸೋದು ಹೇಗೆ ಅಂತ.
ಆದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಓವರ್ ಆಲ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಗುದು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಕಾಗ್ನಿಟಿವ್ ಇರಬೇಕು, ಅಫೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಇರಬೇಕು, ಸೈಕೋಮೋಟಾರ್ ಇರ್ಬೇಕು ಸರ್. ಆ ಮೂರು ಸೇರಿದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ಡ್ ಲೈಫ್. ಆದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಒಂದಕ್ಕೆ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಇನ್ನೆರಡು ನೆಗ್ಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀವಿ ಕೆಲವು ಸರಿ.
ಇದನ್ನ ನಾನು ಬಹಳ ಸರಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ಗಳು ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಇದಾಗ್ತದಲ್ಲ ಎಂಥದ್ದು ಕ್ಯಾಂಪಸ್ ಕಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಬಂದು ಅವ್ರ ಜೊತೆ ಡಿಸ್ಕಷನ್ ಕೂತ್ಕೋತಾರಲ್ಲ, ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟೀಸ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ, ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕಷನ್ಸ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರು ಬಹಳ ಫೈನ್ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ನಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರನ್ನ ಕೈ ಬಿಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ.
ಸತ್ಯ ಸರ್ ಅದು.
ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಕಾರಣ ಬಹುಶಃ ಈ ಕೋಆರ್ಡಿನೇಷನ್ ಆಗದೆ ಇರೋದು ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರುವೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಟೈಮ್ ಅಲಾಟ್ ಮಾಡುವಂತಹ ಸ್ಕೀಮ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಅಥವಾ ಅದು ಒಂದು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ಗೂ ತುಂಬುದು ಕಷ್ಟ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಮತ್ತು ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಗಳಿಗೆ, ಅದು ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಗೆ ತಿಳಿಸ್ಕೊಡೋದಕ್ಕೂ ಅಸಮರ್ಥರಾಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೇವೇನೋ ಅಂತ ಅನಿಸ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ ನನಗೆ.
ಸರಿ, ನಿಜ ಸರ್.
ನಾನು ರಿಟೈರ್ಡ್ ಆಗಿ ಒಂದು 24 ವರ್ಷ ಆಗಿದೆ ಸರ್. ಈಗ ಸಿಚುವೇಶನ್ಸ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಆಗಿದೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ
ಸರ್. ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ ತಮ್ಗೆ.
ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಅನ್ನಿಸ್ತು ಇದನ್ನ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕು. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಚಾಲೆಂಜ್ ಆಗಿ ತಗೊಳ್ಳುವಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಮೂರ್ತಿ ಅವರು. ಅದು ನನಗೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಖುಷಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದೆ. ಓಕೆ ಸರ್, ತುಂಬಾ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು. ತುಂಬಾ ಧನ್ಯವಾದ.
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸರ್.
ನಮಸ್ತೆ ಸರ್.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಸರ್. ನಿಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರ ಹಿರಿಯರ ಪ್ರೇರಣೆ, ಆಶೀರ್ವಾದನೆ ನಮ್ಮನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಇನ್ನಷ್ಟು ಈ ರೀತಿಯಾದಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಯೋಗಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ರೇರೇಪಣೆ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸೋ ಮಚ್ ಒನ್ ಮೋರ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಆಸ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಕಮಿಂಗ್ ಟು ದಿ ಕನ್ಕ್ಲೂಡಿಂಗ್ part of the program, a formal and a very simple concluding from our side. So thank you all teachers first of all for the active participation joining us, though we had some technical glitch today with the link confusion. You still made it, and this is going to be available in YouTube, so we are sharing the link also. Ahead is the username, and you will be getting the link in your email addresses since you have registered with us. You are also added to a WhatsApp online group. You will also be getting the link there. So please submit the assignment. The last date is 20th, 20ನೇ ತಾರೀಕು ಈ ತಿಂಗಳು. So after that we'll start storing all the assessments and keeping it for our reference. The certificates will be given end of all the 8 sessions. So any questions, please message us, and many more interesting topics to come. And Dr. Lokesh sir will be with us to guide us through all the sessions. So Lokesh sir, thank you very much.
Thank you madam. Namaste.
It was wonderful having you. So thanks to all the teachers, thanks to the supporting team from Sneha Seva Trust, all the trustees and volunteers. And thanking everyone from the AHEAD team also, the entire team of volunteers for joining us and making this session happen. Looking forward for 7 more sessions, and let us enjoy this entire journey, because we have chosen topics that are non-academic. which is very useful for the students and the student-teacher relationship, and also for the students in their future endeavors beyond school. ಇದನ್ನು ಮನಸ್ಸಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡೆ ನಾವು ಡಿಸೈನ್ ಮಾಡಿರುವಂಥದ್ದು, and this is suggested by the Central Board of Education. So we are going by the topics that they have suggested, and we have chosen the topics and resource persons accordingly. So one more time, thank you very much for joining us.
Shall I end, ma'am?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thanks for joining us.